Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Libra June 2022 reading and predictions. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who are stopping by for the first time, welcome if that's the case, and for the subscribers, my love and affection to you always. I love doing your readings for you, truly I do. Now, while I'm pulling the cards, some of you may be seeing this in May, some in June. I'll just talk about some of the general astrology that's going on, and then we'll go and look at see what the cards have to say for you. But the general structure of the astrology that's going on out there in May and June is that in early May, Mercury stations direct in Gemini, which is good. So it's been good for, you will have found it's been good for your communications, and you will have found that you have been able to move things through your mind very quickly and process information. Now, what's happened is that on the 13th of May, Jupiter has moved from Pisces, where it's been for some months, and then into the cardinal sign of fire, being Aries. So Jupiter moves into Aries on the 13th of May, and then at the end of the month, on the 27th of May, Mars ingresses into Aries, and then Jupiter and Mars go into conjunction with one another. So this is talking about abundance and gain. The reason for that is because for most of the month, Venus, the other great benefic apart from Jupiter, is also there as well. And so I think that what you'll find there is the structure, the groundwork for gain, for prosperity. But because you've got Mars in Aries, I think you'll also find that, or will have found, that you had a real desire to go it alone with respect to things, to take the bit in between your own teeth, to take hold of the reins yourself and to move things forward. Now, June is what this card reading refers to, of course. There was a retrograde a Mercury retrograde at the end of May, and then in the beginning of June, at the beginning of the month, it stations direct in Taurus. So the retrograde's over when it stations direct in Taurus. But the issue is, you see, is that, let me just pull one of these cards before I go on with that, see what that is. Oh, the Ace of Cups, very good. Now, when it has stationed direct in Taurus, what we find is that it is actually square with Saturn, and Saturn's sitting in Aquarius. And so what the astrologers will tell you is that where you have a Mercury retrograde, some of your plans and things can go astray, some things can go amiss, you can lose things, you can sometimes feel sluggish in your personal affairs, which can have, apparently, the ability to then move along again with the retrograde coming to an end. But because it's square with Saturn, I think that what we might see is something of a retrograde hangover for a period there. However, Mars and Jupiter are still both in Aries, and so that I think you'll have a lot of enthusiasm for things, as the Eight of Cups, particularly things which are high risk even for the way that you may, Five of Cups, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, that you might talk about things to people, or that you might, there's the Hanged Man, or that you might decide to write about high-risk things. And there's the Lovers, which is good. But as I say, Mercury, not as I say, then what happens, though, is that Mercury moves out of Taurus and goes back into Gemini, its home. And it then goes sextile, which is a very good angle, first with Jupiter and then with Mars. And so whatever had been delayed as a result of the retrograde, or what I referred to as that retrograde hangover, I think that will resolve itself and things will move ahead. But let's see what the symbology and the imagery of these cards means for you now for this month. So come and sit down next to me. We'll have a good close look at those things together while I do your reading for you. Now, by the way, I should add that if you would like a personal clairvoyant reading with me, just check out the information in the description below. But let's now have a look at this Lovers card here, shall we? We'll do the major arcanas, and then we'll go to the minors afterwards. So what do we have in this image that's here? The Archangel Raphael, healer of light, who opens your heart to light,
healing and higher consciousness. He represents healing of your mind, body, and spirit through light and unconditional love of God at this time. Now the sun, which is there behind him, represents the light of the divine. And the dove that's here, well, those in the Christian tradition will know it, but one might call it a manifestation of the divine, which descends with the light of peace that comes from healing and true self-love. Now, the man and the woman, they face each other with love, devotion, and commitment of the sacred marriage to each other, as well as the sacred marriage within the self. Now, the apple tree here, which is next to the woman, that represents the tree of knowledge of good and bad. Now, that's first referred to in the old book of the first book of the Hebrew Bible in the Old Testament in Christian tradition of Genesis in chapter 2, verse 9. In fact, we've always referred to it as being an apple, but actually the fruit is not described at all in that text, and so it's just left up to us to just call it a fruit, really. But the golden tree, which is here next to the man, that represents the tree of life. And the tree's roots, both of them, the roots, they come together in the shape of a heart. You see that down here? And that is combining both aspects of the trees. Now, above the heart is a six-pointed star. Now, these are two triangles. The top one like that, with the apex at the top, means fire, and the triangle with the apex at the bottom means water. They create a six-pointed star, and they are from the union of the fire triangle, which refers to masculine, spirit, consciousness, and fire, and the water triangle, which refers to feminine, emotion, subconscious, and water. And together they symbolize creation and transformation at a very sacred level. Now, the grail that you see here is in the outline of this sort of pinkish sort of a grail. That represents the feminine, the garden of receptivity, flowing with love into the pool of all possibilities. Now, you might just be able to make out here very wispy sort of a sword that's there. That's the masculine aspect, bringing your thought and imagination into action at this time. Now, the double-edged sword defines your needs and choices you make in life. Now, the butterflies that are flying around that you see there, they represent the beauty of transformation that comes from healing and self-love. The lilies that are in the background, I think they represent purity and unconditional love. Now, looking at the energy here, I think that what it is doing is, it is symbolizing for you a committed, strong, possibly a romantic relationship that keeps growing and spiritually expanding towards a deeper understanding of your inner self, your partner, and your relationships in the outer world. It awakens your free will to make choices in life that support your heart's evolution on your spiritual path. Now, this card asks, are the choices you make in relationships coming from a balanced, integrated place? And if not, identify the opposing aspects within yourself and how they affect your external life. Internal struggles between your dualities can create negativity and, well, that projects outwardly, really. Now, I'm addressing your inner conflicts, balancing the dualities, trusting and loving yourself can heal all the struggles from the past. Now, there was another major arcana around somewhere, wasn't it? Wasn't there? Let's have a look. Oh, it's this one. The Hanged One. Let me just have a look at that. Okay. This is the Hanged One, very often called the Hanged Man, but, so I may refer to it as a he, may use that pronoun from time to time. Let's look at the imagery, because the symbology tells you a lot about what is going on for you. Now, this Hanged One is suspended upside down by a cosmic spiral. You see, the spiral goes all the way down, all the way through and back again. And that's the cosmic spiral of the divine. The energy of the cosmic spiral moves through the solar plexus to the heart chakra, to the third eye, and into the crown chakra. Then it descends into the roots of the lotus and back up through the roots and stems, blossoming into the violet lotus, which is above. Now, this cap, which is on the Hanged One here, that cap weaves this energy from the subconscious to the conscious. Now, in the traditional image, the Hanged One has his hands tied behind his back, representing total surrender. In this image, his hands are in front, in conscious prayer and meditation, thus expressing dedication to his path that is felt deeply within his heart and soul. Now, the Hanged One here looks to be in deep meditation, doesn't he? In the watery world of the cosmic womb. Now, behind his head, the sun, you see it there, shines out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, with 12 rays, which shine into the 12 worlds of the zodiac. And that triangle pointing downwards, of course, as we discussed, represents water. Now, the lotus at the top of the card represents the opening of the crown chakra. The lotus stem is part of the Hanged One, descending into the depths of the subconscious. The complete lotus cradles the womb of consciousness in the universe, with its roots and stems winding in and out, representing the cycles of the subconscious and conscious on many levels. Now, the coloured lights that you see on the sides here, I think they represent the six chakras ascending to the 7th top crown chakra of unfoldment, the violet lotus. Now, the Hanged One is associated with the planet Neptune, representing dreams, intuition, spirituality, and the unconscious. Now, the Hanged One, I think here, the energy is such that it offers you options, solutions, and insights that help you move out of stuck situations. He brings a shift in your consciousness, and maybe also in your spiritual values, signaling a time, anyway, to rebalance your outer world with your inner world. Now, this energy represents independent thinking and taking the higher path or following a higher calling. You may be called to compromise or surrender to a situation where you have no control. And if you have no control, you have no control. You may have to accept something that your ego resists. The Hanged One indicates a time to set the ego aside by taking a deeper look into your soul self. He offers you a chance to find deeper meaning in your existence on this earthly plane. The restlessness within you begins to calm with the Hanged One's energy. The Hanged One brings peace, personal power, and renewal through deep contemplation, introspection, and meditation. You're going to have this peace and personal power anyway during this time. And certainly, this is indicating that it is a time to release old habits and outgrown lifestyles. Now, be patient with yourself and, of course, also with others. Acceptance is the key. Be open to look at life in all of its broader perspectives. Now, they are the majors, so let's have a look at the minor, which is sitting above it. This Ace of Cups. Hello, Ace of Cups. Now, what do we have here? Well, let me get that right into focus for you. You can tell it's the Ace of Cups there. Now, in this image, there are 5 streams spilling over the Grail, and they symbolize the everlasting life stream from one source, renewing and transforming the 5 senses of humanity. Now, the Golden Grail is decorated with a star heart. Do you see that there? Here's the star, and there's the heart, which is open heart, receiving love from the divine. Now, you may not be able to make this out, but I'm just looking at it here. On the stem of this Grail, 7 coloured jewels represent the chakras. Now, these handles are kind of stylistically, but they are in the shape of dolphins, and they meet at the violet crown chakra. Dolphins symbolize the power of the breath, mana, life force, releasing emotions and speaking from the heart. Now, the Grail sits in the center of an open lotus that you can see here, which is about enlightenment. Now, the feminine full moon, which is down here, that rises up out of the subconscious as the sun rises out of the Grail into consciousness. Violet light, as you can see it here, is the color of the Holy Spirit, and there's that dove again that we see, and it represents the gift of love to you from the divine, and the rainbow symbolizes the bridge between heaven and earth. Now, it seems to me that looking at this and this card in connection and in context of the others that are around it, it brings you opportunity to learn and live the gifts of love, compassion, intuitiveness, deep spirituality, healing, and hope. It symbolizes new beginnings, happiness, optimism, and fulfillment. It brings a new loving relationship or a deepening love to an existing relationship. This energy signals fertility, and so you may hear of a pregnancy or the birth of a child. It brings emotional breakthroughs in life, and they expand your spiritual responsibility incidentally. But the Ace of Cups brings you self-love. It asks you to listen, open, and trust your heart to follow what your heart seeks. The Ace of Cups brings the opportunity to channel the universal love of peace and joy into your life. Now, if you could bottle the heightened feelings of the first moments of falling in love, it would be called, I guess, the Ace of Cups. Now, what's in the center here? Let's have a look at this 5 of Cups. This is a great artwork, don't you think? I think so. Certainly for those who like colour. There's plenty of colour in it, that's for sure. Now, what do we have here? Well, the image here in this 5 of Cups, well, there is a cloaked person who stares down at the 3 spilled cups of loss, disappointment, and regret. dark clouds. You see them here in the background there. They hang overhead as rain teems down in this dark realm of, well, for this person, maybe a despair. But rainbow butterflies, which are the colours of the 7 chakras of transformation, emerge out of the 2 golden cups, and they ascend towards the rainbow and spirit. Now the green butterfly, the heart chakra in the center, that symbolizes the healed and transformed heart, and the rainbow symbolizes hope and the bridge between heaven and earth, as we discussed. Now the brilliant sun here shines out with healing rays of new beginnings. Do you know, I think that this 5 of Cups really offers you 2 choices. Really 2 choices. You can either focus on the 3 spilt cups of loss, sadness, and disappointment, and we've all had such things, staying in the place of sorrow and regret. Or you can shift your perspective from the painful past experiences to embrace the 2 full cups of light, stability, love, and new beginnings. The 2 full cups symbolize what is good and true in your life. They contain the magical elixir of spiritual and emotional strength. The 3 spilled cups symbolize what needs to be cleansed out of your life. Now, the challenge of the 5 of Cups is to learn to trust your heart again. Grow a new heart. The heart is an incredible organ, both physically and energetically. It can transform pain and grief if you allow the emotions to be confronted and embraced by the heart. Tears release negative emotion, cleansing sadness, neutralizing it, and releasing it. And we've all shed a tear, haven't we? And if you are going to cry, then cry all of your tears. Now, within the heart is a special garden of remembrance where it holds all experiences, honoring each one for the lessons and gifts that came from them. With each gift, your heart and life become fuller, bringing healing and shining the light to a brighter future for you. And that takes us finally, I think, doesn't it, to this 8. Let's have a look here at the 8. Let's have a good look at you. 8 of Cups. See what you have to say to my friend here. Well, in this image here, you see a woman ascending to the surface of consciousness. The star that you see there, that hangs just above the clouds. Now, within the star is a portal illuminating the way to your higher self. The woman has been on an internal quest through the mountains of, see these dark things here? They're beneath the surface of the water, these underwater mountains that are here. Well, she's been on a quest, I suppose, from across and through mountains of the cosmic oceans, following the sacred light to the island of healing love and crystal clarity. She is being guided by the dove, which here symbolizes the courageous love in her heart to be true to herself. Now the dolphin that you see there, that's a guide for her, and it represents the breath of life, the manna, the balancing her mind, body, and soul. Now, during challenging times, you have special angels and guides helping you soul search through the depths of murkiness. Now, at the bottom of the sea floor here, there are 8 cups in the cloudy dust of the past. Some of the cups stand, while others lay down, indicating a situation, a relationship, or a job that appeared to be successful and working on the surface, but was not really fulfilling within. Now, this situation prompted, I think, a desire for seeking a deeper understanding of yourself. And this lunar eclipse, which we see here, this has now activated the energy for you to move on and let go. Now, as the woman rises to the star, you see that the mountain below has turned into an island of light, and the rainbow shines brightly with promise for new gifts and opportunity. Now, where this card is placed, which is above the Lovers and diagonally opposite the Hanged One here, I think that this represents perhaps changing a job, changing a routine or a relationship, moving to a new location perhaps, certainly releasing old patterns or lifestyles, or maybe abandoning current plans or projects. It symbolizes, I think, a needed withdrawal, sort of a time out, a retreat, so that you can re-examine your priorities, actions, and life, bringing in healing, new concepts to restore your inner balance and make you happy. With this energy, you have consciously made a choice to let go and embrace new ideals and insights. Your authentic self is beckoning you now to travel to higher planes, to accept an impending change and liberate yourself. Like her, you are the traveler and the seeker. And happy traveling to you, because it brings you to a great place. Well, what a really interesting set of cards for you. Good job. That's the way it is for you this month.
That, my dear friend, is your reading for June 2022. I love doing readings for you. Did I mention that before? I really do. I'm always excited to be doing it, and I'd love to see you. And if you're here for the first time, welcome, and I hope to see a lot more of you. Subscribers, thank you very much for being with me all this time. I really enjoy your company. Drop me a note in the comments, and we can see how we're all doing. But in the meantime, remember this, and remember it always, and it is that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.